Hi everyone, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedules. I'm Kacey Siskind. I'm the Senior Vice President at HONK. I've been with the company for coming up 9 years now, since day one, and it's a pleasure to be here with all of you. HONK is a wonderful company. We have an incredible team, and I love my job still every day. So I just wanted to take you through the agenda of what we're going to do today. So the agenda is sort of taking you through a little introduction on HONK and who we are and what we do. And then we're just going to start to get into the ins and outs of the FlexPass, which is really what we're here to talk about today. We're going to discuss how to spread the word and let people know that you're offering HONK Pass, the ability to have real flexible parking within your operation. We're going to walk through a couple of case studies, so between campuses, college campuses, and office buildings and workspaces, because that's really important to understand how it's working from within actual parking operations. And then last but not least, we're going to do a Q&A. So if you have questions along the way, please make sure to put them into the chat. So HONK. We are an unattended payment technology company for parking and mobility. That's a big mouthful, but really we create software for the parking industry, and it's really the underbelly of what we do is steeped in payments. It's really important to us to make sure that all parking operations have a really smooth, easy way to collect parking payments, and that's really what we focus on a daily basis. We were founded in 2013. We're based all over the US and Canada. We operate in 150 cities approximately, and we have about 300 plus customers that we work with, and it runs the gamut. It's really private operators, colleges and universities, and municipalities. So we really get a good snapshot of what all of these different operations look like, and we develop our products around them. We spend a lot of time really focused on how can we make payment easier for the parker, and how can we make it so that parking operators have a really flexible, inexpensive way to accept these payments, and make it so that there's a lot less friction in this parking industry that we work in when it comes to payments. Who we are and what we do. So we really believe that we have the complete parking package at HONK. It has been important to us as we've evolved over the years. We started with an app for parking because 9 years ago, that's all people were really using in which to pay for parking. And over the course of these last 9 years, we've really evolved our solution, and we've moved into different areas of this industry in terms of how people can pay for parking and how we can facilitate that process. So you're looking at EV charging, we work with permits, validations, promo codes, reservations, and like I said, the daily parking. We also have a QR code that we present for parking, which is an incredible guest checkout option, whereby you don't have to download anything. So this is our complete parking package, and like I said earlier, sort of ingrained within this piece is really the idea of payments. So the idea of being able to use Apple Pay and Google Pay no matter what, right? If you're within Canada, being able to use your Interact, PayPal, entering a credit card, and then the idea of making that so easy so that you don't have to go through 20 steps to get there, right? How quickly can I pay for parking? That's the piece that's most important, because we don't want to have to spend time, you pull into a parking lot, you just want the ease of it. You don't want to go to machines and start punching things around. You just really want to be able to use your phone and click and go. And that's what we focus on the daily. We really make it a priority in our software to make sure that your payment space for the consumer is a quick and easy process, and then for you as the operator being able to offer everything, including Apple Pay, Google Pay, and then from the payment perspective being able to give you your daily deposits if you would like that, and a myriad of other options. So that's HONK and what we do. These are all of our products that we offer. This next slide is just sort of a little snapshot of the customers that we work with. As you can see, we run the gamut of municipalities, colleges and universities, and private operators. And this is just a snippet of some of those people that we love and adore and we work with every day. So the reason that we're here today is to really get into this idea of the FlexPass. Almost like a virtual scratch card. So we wanted to introduce you to the FlexPass, which we lovingly call HONK Pass. But the idea of being able to buy a pack of parking. So this is just sort of a snapshot of what we sort of see as what's going on in the industry right now. Obviously, since the pandemic, we're looking at hybrid work now, right? And hybrid work isn't going anywhere. So you can see these statistics and what they're showing. You know, employee work locations, remote jobs. We just need to be able to work from wherever we need to work from at this point, because our lives have changed and they've shifted. And you know, yes, there are definitely some companies that are moving towards going back to the office, but I'm not so sure that you're going back every single day. My sister-in-law, for example, works for a large company, and you know, they've basically said, we want you in the office 3 days a week. Well, that's a big difference from what was happening pre-pandemic, which was 5 days a week. So obviously, your parking needs are going to change, and hybrid workers are going to want to look for flexible, price-sensitive, and convenient parking options. In which case, we sort of sat back, you know, during the pandemic, and I want to introduce you now to HONK Pass, because this is what we've come up with to sort of offer you the idea of this digital flexible parking pass. We kind of took a step back while everything was going on and said, okay, where do we think we're going to go from here? What can we develop around this current situation? And what we kind of figured was, maybe I'm not going to go back to the office every single day, so I don't necessarily, or I'm not going to go on campus every single day, so I don't necessarily need my monthly or my semestered parking pass, but I really don't want to pay the daily rate every single day, because I am coming to this particular location often enough that it's going to get super expensive. So, okay, then there has to be a middle ground. And what we felt the middle ground was this idea of freedom and control, of, you know, being able to buy a pack of parking that was priced accordingly. So you could do a 5-pack, a 10-pack, a 20-pack, whatever you want. And being able to use that whenever I want. Now, the bonuses is that as the operator, which most of you on this call are operators, and hopefully some of you use HONK as well, but the idea is that you want to be able to set this pack. So you have the freedom to set the price. You can set the amount of days it's redeemed. You can set how long the pass is valid for, so you can put an expiration date on them. So let's say I buy a 5-pack tomorrow. As the operator, you can say that 5-pack expires in a month, 6 weeks, 3 months from now. So you can kind of figure out what makes the most sense for your operation. And then you can also set what days of the week it's going to be redeemed. So if you know that you have a lot of events, let's say, on the weekends, and you don't want somebody being able to use their pass, I mean, obviously, if there's an event rate, that's going to override the pass. But even still, I may not want somebody going to, you know, if there's a great restaurant in the lot that I have, I don't want them necessarily using their pass on Saturdays. So you can say it's only valid Monday through Friday. It just gives you, as the operator, a lot of control over how people use these passes. You may say it's, you know, unlimited, just buy your pack of 20 and you can use it till whenever. That's obviously your choice as well. And then there's breakage. You don't use it, you lose it, right? So if I set the expiration date and I don't use all 5 passes by that point, then obviously there's a little breakage that goes back. So this is HONK Pass. How the parker would use HONK Pass is that they are going to purchase it. They have to set up an account. So this is not the same as our guest checkout piece, because we need to store the product somewhere. So they would set up an account with HONK. They can do the web browser, so you can get the Apple Store or through the Google Play Store. And then let's assume it's like a 5-pack per se. So I'll go back to that. I'm going to purchase that 5-pack in long-term parking within our system. And then I go and park my car. I redeem a pass in that specific zone that it's purchased within, and then I'll redeem my pack, at which point I'll go from 5 to 4, and you know, and so on and so forth. So it's a super easy process for the consumer. Like we said, everything we do is to try and make these this software so easy to use and so flexible, and just not a lot of friction involved in getting from A to B. So you purchase the pass and then you redeem the pass. Once it's, you know, you're done your 5-pack, you would need to go and buy another one. But it's a good, easy, sleek process. And that's how the parker would use HONK Pass. So the idea of this, and like I said, we're going back to sort of the idea that it's a virtual scratch card, right? So I buy my 10-pack and I go down to 9, 8, 7, 6. You can use those, like we said, whenever you want to do this. Why the parkers love them is because I'm getting discounted parking. I'm getting safe and contactless parking, right? I don't have to touch anything. There's no, you know, machines for me to deal with. I get to pay up front, so I understand what my budget is. So maybe the monthly doesn't work for me, but I know that I'm going to be at the office 2 days a week over the course of however many weeks. I'm going to buy a 20 pack because that's what works with my budget. These are, in my head, these are the days I'm going to go, so I can plan accordingly. And then obviously the convenience of it all. So I don't want my monthly pass anymore, but again, I've got this piece that I can now use, and it's convenient and super easy to use. So this is why we have the parkers who absolutely love HONK Pass. And then this is why our operators love HONK Pass. They can generate upfront revenue. So, similar to the parker, I can now manage. I know that within this lot, I've got, 15 people who are constantly buying passes. So now I have an understanding of sort of what's coming in, and I get the money upfront. So if the pass is $100, the operator takes the $100, and then the customer, obviously decrements down from there. I get to save on labor costs. I have increased compliance because, sometimes people come in for their daily parking. They may not pay for parking. We all know this is a fact. But you have increased compliance, and it's just a bonus when people already know that they have their pass. And they remember these things because they've put the money out already. So I've already spent my $100. Like, it's really important to me to use that because I know it's there. It's at the top of mind versus pulling into a spot with your daily parking. Oh, how do I pay? Where do I pay? All of these things. So it really is going to allow for increased compliance. And then I'm going to save on my credit card processing fees because this mostly applies within the US, but because somebody's going to be buying like a larger package up front versus having to pay every single time. So that's very helpful as well. That is why our operators love our HONK Pass. And now we're just going to talk about some reporting. So obviously, as the parking operator, this is really important to you. So whether you run a municipality or a college or university or a private operation, it's all the same in the sense that we kind of need to know exactly what's going on within that operation. So HONK has spent many hours kind of figuring out how our back office should work for operators and what you need to be able to find back there, what's going to be important to you. And we're always changing it and adding new things because we get lots of feedback from our operators, and it's important to us to kind of manage that feedback and really create the system to see it as you need to see it. So obviously we're going to let you know how many passes were sold, who bought the passes, the expiration dates on them. You can change everything within the back office too. You can create this and change it. You're going to want to know the number of redemptions and then how much breakage, right? So how many went unused? When they expired, how many of these went unused? You're all able to create and do all of this from within our back office. So we'll train you and get you all figured out. Our operations team is one of the best. They spend time and energy just making sure people understand the solution. And then obviously, we're here for you whenever you need us. But the beauty is it's very self-serve. A lot of what HONK does is very self-serve. So you are able to go through the back office, create the passes, create the expiration dates, view all the passes you sold, and so all of this reporting is at your fingertips, and you can run your statements and everything else that's available back there. So that's sort of the back office and how it works, and we'll get you very well trained in all of that. So we wanted to talk a little bit about spreading the word about HONK Pass when you have decided to use the product, because we are very much of the mindset that one of the things that sometimes we don't do as well in the parking industry is sort of merchandising and making sure people know exactly what products we have. And it's hard because you put up signs, people don't pay attention to things, they don't necessarily read things all the time, but it is really important to make things look nice and make sure that your parkers sort of have this ease of parking, right, around them, and informing them all the time. You want to let them know exactly what you have as an operation. So if you're a college and university, you want people to know you can buy permits online, you can buy a HONK Pass online, there's QR codes in the lot whereby you can scan and you don't have to download an account, or download the app and let's use the app. Like, really informing people and letting them know exactly what's being offered at your operation. And so some of the ways that we see HONK Pass working really well is the ability to obviously have some on-site signage, and this is what I mean by merchandising, is making sure the signs look nice, making sure they're placed in the right places, making sure you have enough signs so that parkers can really see and understand exactly where they're parking and how they need to buy this pass. And we can do a lot of this through QR codes as well. So you can have a QR code on site on a sign that you scan that draws you right to the page in which you need to purchase that. So and we'll walk you through that in the app, obviously. Another really important way is sort of email marketing to your user base. So I'm assuming in this day and age, everybody has a list. We work with one customer that just loves to email market, and it really works for them. And their stuff is really fun and kind of kitschy and cute, and it draws your attention, right? It's eye-catching. So email marketing is really important because people do pay attention. At the end of the day, the world is in a bit of a weird place right now. People want to buy the best rates they can get. They want to find the best parking. They want to know that they're safe in their parking lots, all of these things. So really kind of telling people what you have available within your location with your email marketing list is a super important piece as well. Obviously putting a link on your website, and we can provide stuff for you, as you know, we can provide widgets that you can throw onto your website. So our links or whatever you need will help out with that. And then creating a social media accounts and sharing via social media, because, you know, again, important to get the word out there. LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, if you so choose, but whatever you need in order to sort of just to feed people this information and let them know these passes are now available or whatever else is available that you find important. So that's just sort of what we believe in terms of spreading the word. All right. So we're going to get into some case studies and sort of walk you through some of the important things that we've seen along the way as we launched this product. And like I said, we launched this we developed it during the pandemic because we felt that it was going to be really important going forward, and it has proven to be true. We are really seeing, you know, people wanting to use this product because it just makes sense for them. So we're seeing a lot of our higher education institutions moving towards hybrid. You know, I had a call early on in this whole craziness with one of our institutions, and they were saying, yeah, like we're probably going to start to move to, you know, 50% online at some point, because it's just making sense, period. People are able to, you know, to study from wherever they want to. So this was just an idea of sort of the higher education. You know, we're already, you can see 59% of colleges and universities are already engaging in this idea of hybrid studies. And, you know, even just 29% are saying, yeah, we're engaging to some extent and we're probably moving towards this direction. So that's why HONK Pass is really important to you know, especially at colleges and universities. You know, the post-COVID return, irregular schedules for staff and students, and then providing value. So for students who are coming back to school, not every day, sort of semi-regular basis, don't need a full, you know, semestered pass per se, but they need something, and the daily rate isn't necessarily going to work for them. So we worked with one university whereby they were like, yes, we want to offer this. This is a perfect solution for us. And they reduced their price fairly dramatically, which I thought was pretty amazing. Like they wanted to provide people with this option that sort of sat in the middle, and within 24 hours they had sold out. Now they had put a cap on them, which they then released because they realized how important these were. But at the beginning, they threw a word out there. They did an incredible marketing promotion. They did some promotion through their social media. Obviously, with colleges and universities, their students are paying a lot of attention to that stuff. But within 24 hours, they had sold out. So we were pretty blown away. And since then, they just continue to sell tons and tons of these passes. And then this is just an idea of what went on at the University of British Columbia, which is one of the colleges, the universities that we work with and spend a lot of time with. And at UBC, their challenge was around their faculty. So they realized that they needed some special rates for their faculty that were not going to be coming back on campus all the time. They needed these rates fairly quickly, so we sort of said to them, here, why don't you take this? It's a simple digital, you know, they wanted a straightforward process for these faculty members, and the solution obviously was going to be HONK Pass. And it was a special login that was only accessible for faculty and staff. So they were able to access this special rate, but obviously students weren't able to get it. So it was sort of like a hidden rate that the faculty and staff, and they had to do a special login for it. And that's also been a big success for them, and it's made their staff very happy. So we were happy to assist there. So those were our two colleges and universities that we had worked with in order to kind of facilitate the idea of the hybrid pass. And then this is the idea of the hybrid work areas. So really, I'd sort of mentioned this earlier on, but this is, again, we really believe that this idea of hybrid work is here to stay. This is a parking operator that we work with in Milwaukee. It is residential and business towers and some gated garages for people returning to work sort of 2 to 3 days a week. And actually, this is a good time for me to explain that the pass can also come with a barcode. And so if you need to access a garage, we can very easily provide a barcode so that it can open the gate. So it's not just for open lots, it can also be used with gated locations as well. And that's what this private operator has done. So they were looking for an alternative to the daily and monthly parking. They also needed something in between because these are big office buildings and people were not returning, 5 days a week. So again, the solution became Honk Pass. The operator set up their rates, their sessions, the expiry to meet the needs of the residential and business towers. So, some of these only were available Monday through Friday. They weren't available on the weekend. Some were available 7 days a week, sort of depending on what they saw the need for. And then the one interesting piece here was that when we went back and we sort of looked at some of the statistics and the data on this, what we were finding for the operator, and this may be more important to private operators, more so maybe than, municipalities or colleges and universities, but there was a ton of breakage. So, people were buying their 10-pack and then maybe moving out of the city and they weren't using their whole pack. And, you can very easily say these are non-refundable when purchased. So what we saw was about a 7.5% breakage, which meant that there was unused paid parking sessions, and that obviously that money went back to the parking operator. And then sort of the last, where we see the Flex Pass, the idea of Honk Pass, the flexibility. We've talked about colleges and universities maybe not coming onto campus as often. We've discussed the hybrid workplace. And then the last piece of it sort of applies to both, which would be the commuter lots. So I'm parking somewhere and I'm taking a train into the city every day. And those commuter lots, I used to go 5 days a week and I used to buy a pass for 5 days a week and that was priced accordingly. Well, now I'm only going 2 or 3 days a week, so how can I deal with this? So the commuter lots, it's really a great idea to be able to offer the flexibility around 2 or 3 days or however many times you want to use this over the course of whatever period the operator sets. So really what we're getting into here is just the idea of flexibility in your parking operation. We want to make sure that you know that we have all of these options and for which you can use them to create flexibility for your parkers. And the more flexibility you create, the happier you're going to have. Your parkers are just going to be that much happier. So it has been important to us between the app, what we call Honk Tap, which is the ability to use a QR code, Honk Pass, which we discussed today, and the multitude of other options that we have to offer. It's kind of like you can pick and choose, and it really is the complete parking package that we are really proud that we've developed over the course of the last 9 years. And I hope you guys have a couple questions for me today. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Thank you so much for attending. I really appreciate you taking out the time, and I think we'll get to a few questions now. Does the customer have to purchase through the vendor, or is this something they can purchase via the app? So no, this is something that can be available in the app to them. We set up a section in our app called long-term parking. You need to purchase it through the long-term parking, but then once you've made the purchase, it actually goes into your regular parking. So the nice thing about the Honk app is that you can also add favorites. You can favorite your location. So this is really easy because you can just click on your favorites and pull it up and it'll be in there. But the reason we need you to do this from within the app is because we need to store it somewhere. We need to know, we need to hold accountable that you have a 10-pack and now you have 9 or now you have 8, right? So it's important that it sits from within the app, but yes, they can purchase it there. Can you share a pass? You can't share a pass, but you can change a license plate. So, I guess if you share an account, you could share a pass in that sense, because you could just change your license plate that day. So if you were to share an account with your husband or your wife or your partner or whoever it was, you could do it that way, and then you could change your license plate. But I guess that would be the best way to do it. Is 1 pack can be redeemed for 1 hour, duration based for the whole day parking. You get to set exactly what you want around this. So you can set the amount of hours that the pass is available for. So let's say you only want it to be available for 4 hours. You could do a 4-hour parking pass or a full day rate. That's up to you. We give you those options. Again, like I said, it's got a lot of flexibility in it, and we've worked that in for every individual parking operator that we work with, because everyone kind of has their own special needs around it. Do you have to use the app and make an account? Yes, okay, so we've covered that. You do have to use the app and make an account so we can store it somewhere. how does honk work within a gated garage application? So I explained that a little bit earlier. We need to be able to open the gate. So in order to open the gate, there needs to be a barcode reader or some type of reader that allows us to lift the gate. We can do an integration into that gate, and we can provide with the pass the ability to scan and open. It just is a matter of doing an integration, whatever that looks like. And for the most part, we've done a ton of these gate integrations already, so it shouldn't be too difficult. If flex parking is used in a gated garage, can customers go out at lunch and come back without using another session? I'm going to say no to that. That's a very good question, but I'm going to assume that the answer to that is no, and that is something I can find out and get back to you on. But no, I would assume that once you've redeemed a session, you've redeemed it, and you can't use it throughout the day. Although, if that's from within a gate. If you're in obviously a non-gated lot, and you've used your session and your session is for the day, then yes, your license plate will stay valid through the course of that day. But if you were to have to go in and out of a gate, I'm guessing you would have to do a second session. But that is something I'm going to find out for you. Can you set limits on the number of flex permits sold within a specific lot? Yes, we can. We can do inventory, so we can say, only 10 permits are allowed to be sold within this lot today. When you talk about a barcode for a parking garage. Okay, so we've got a lot of questions on parking garages, so I think I've covered that at this point. But again, anytime there's a gate and my system needs to open the gate, we need some type of scanner that allows us to connect to the scanner for the gate to open. So we can do that anytime, anyhow, anywhere. It's just a matter of providing that hardware, that piece of hardware, and hopefully it's already there and we can just integrate into it, and then we can open the gate. Is this daily session parking only, or can you set it up hourly to use gate data and charge on exit? The purpose of the pack is that you buy, each pack is valid for a certain amount of time. So I think you're asking, that is something we can do, but not from within this multi-pack, because this pass is using it for a specific period of time. It's not like, hey, I'm going to pull in for the hour and then I'll charge you after the fact. So I think that's the question you're asking. I hope I'm answering it correctly. But the idea would be, we don't charge you on exit because you've already bought the pack, and the pack is valid for a certain period of time. So we can do charge on exit for some other things, but not for this specific use case. How do the promo codes work? Okay, great question. Everything Honk does pretty much has the ability to use a promo code. And the beauty is that you as the operator get to produce the promo codes within the system. So we train you on that. So let's say you wanted to offer a percentage off, you wanted to offer free parking, you wanted to offer a certain amount of money off. You can then go in and create those promo codes. They're used a ton within our system. Colleges and universities love them because let's say the English department is hosting an event and they want to pay for everybody's parking. The parking operation can then say to them, hey, your promo code is English 1, it's good for this day only. Have everybody, or this weekend or whatever it may be, have everybody go and use this promo code, and then you can track them and trace them and bill back for them. Or you're offering a new lot somewhere, opening a new lot somewhere, and you really want to offer parking at a percentage off. You can create a promo code for that. It's good for some merchant validation work as well. So our promo code solution is quite robust and really easy to use as the operator. Rather than setting Honk Pass redemption rates, can parkers choose what days per week they plan to use their pass? You can Parker can't set, the Parker, yes. It's sort of twofold here. If you are to say that Honk Pass is only good Monday, Wednesday, Friday, then the parker's only going to be able to park Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If you allow this pass to be valid for 6 weeks, any day of the week, then they can choose what day of the week they want to park. So you don't need to purchase 3 days in a row. You can actually go off the beaten path a little bit with this, and you can just park whenever you want to park, so long as you as the operator allow for that. So you kind of have to give permission on that, but yes, that's exactly how this would work. My goodness, we have tons of questions today. It's wonderful. Can you lock the Honk Pass so that only certain people can buy it? We have a rate for employees. Only employees can access this price. Yes, this is exactly what we were describing at UBC. So the ability to offer sort of a secret rate so that only employees know that rate. And then you can do that through a bunch of different ways. So either we can do promo codes, you could do single sign-on. That's a little bit of custom work involved there, but it definitely is available. And or we can create a secret zone that only the staff would know about, and you would have to give out that secret zone. So again, the HONK system is quite flexible because we work with so many different styles of operators that we've had to create a lot of changes, add a lot of sort of little nuances around everything that we do. So oftentimes you'll be able to find what you need from within the system, and that's a really good example in terms of locking it down. Not sure what an anti-passback option in a gated garage means. Assuming that you don't want somebody else to be able to use your pack, because you set up an account, you would have to. I don't think that's really an option, right? You can change your license plate, but you can't sort of share in that sense. Controlling garage inventory with a mix of random flex passes and full-time permits. So you would just have to let us know exactly how many you want to sell. I mean, at the end of the day, you're probably going to have some idea of what your inventory within your garage looks like, and you can just say to us, you can only sell 10, or I want you to be able to sell 100 permits and 100 passes, and let's see how that goes, and we'll sell 100 permits and 100 passes, and then see how many spaces you have left over. Let's say you have a 300-car garage. We can kind of fill in from there. So it really sort of allows you to figure out, your inventory and how you want to work within that. How do you redeem a flex pass on the app is a great question. So again, like I said, once you've downloaded and created your account and bought the pass, it's really easy actually. So every time you go in, you just say redeem and it'll redeem. It's that fast. It's because you're buying from within a zone, you're already into that zone, and all you have to do is as you pull in, you park your car and you just say redeem a pass. We'll also send you an email letting you know that pack went from 10 to 9. And then you can also look from within the app itself to see how many passes you have left. So we keep you informed, but you can also inform yourself from within the app. What would happen if you set the honk for a couple hours and you were gone longer than you said you'd be parked for? I think you're parked longer than you thought. So there would be, and that really comes down to an enforcement issue. So if you parked your car, let's say your pass was only good for the day, and you had to leave your car, whatever, it was only good till 5 o'clock and you had to leave your car there till 7. At that point, you would need to add time to your parking. So you would need to buy additional time. If you didn't buy additional time, that really comes down to an enforcement issue, right? As you enforce the law more and more, you're going to start to see which cars are not valid or compliant. Like, it's up to me as the consumer to know that I'm staying longer and I need to buy additional time, which I can always do from within the app. But you as the operator, often will need to enforce around that situation just to be sure. Can you offer multiple options to consumers, i.e. 5-day, 10-day? You can offer a 5. This is sort of a permitting piece. If you wanted to do 5-day permit, a 10-day permit, you can do those. That's not necessarily the idea behind the Flex Pass. The Flex Pass is sort of like, I've bought a 5-pack, it's good for the month, I'm going to use it on the days that I want to use it. But yes, the HONK system can also do a 5-day pass, a 10-day pass, and so on and so forth. And again, the operator really has the ability to deal with that from within the back office and figure out what they need. Does HONK accept credit, debit cards from Europe or Asia using the app? As far as I know, there are certain credit cards that we can and can't accept. So anything within the North America market, definitely. Apple Pay, Google Pay, PayPal, and if you're in Canada, we can do Interact, or you can enter a credit card. I would think that as long as it's a Visa, MasterCard, or American Express, that shouldn't be a problem, and we can offer that. We can accept those. The next question, if the pack is for 4 hours and the user stayed for 6 in a gated lot, how will the user be charged? Will another pack be used? So again, then you have the option as the parker. You can either redeem an additional pack, or if you don't want to redeem the pack at that point, you can buy an hour. Like the hourly rates will be in the system for you, and they'll be available to you. So if you really didn't want to buy another pack or use another pack because it was for a full day, at that point, no, your pack for the day is going to expire. I want to add a couple other hours. I can then buy the daily rate for that, or the hourly rate, sorry. So, you know, like let's say it's $2 an hour after that, so then I would obviously buy a couple hours worth $4 versus redeeming an entire pack. So the flexibility is from within the app as well, once you've redeemed your pass, because it all sits in the same space. How does the operator find an enforcer to monitor the passes? There's lots of different ways that operators use enforcements. I guess it sort of depends where you are. Municipalities often have their own enforcement team that's on the ground, same with colleges and universities. Parking operators sort of either do it themselves, or they may hire sometimes the municipalities. Enforcement, it sort of just depends on your operation and what makes the most sense to you. Sort of the bigger operations use big enforcement solutions. Some of the smaller operations really enjoy using our HONK solution, which is just, you know, the ability to tell you that this car was valid from this time to this time, and then you can write a ticket against that. But everyone kind of does something a little different around enforcement. Do customers receive notifications or reminder prior to the expiry of their pass? Could the notification reinforce the Flex Pass is non-refundable? So when you buy the pass, we give you a notification. We send you an email letting you know that you've made this purchase. From within that, yes, we can 100% say that this is non-refundable. And then again, within the app, you've got some space in there within the multi-pass where you can in the HONK Pass, when you go to create the pass, there's some messaging that you can put directly in the app that lets people know non-refundable. You can put it in big bold letters. It can be the only thing that you put there, or you can have, you know, a multitude of information that you want to provide to the consumer. But at the end of their pass, currently, as far as I know, we are not sending out a notification letting them know that it's up, but it is definitely on the roadmap because we believe that that's something that we need to start, you know, letting people know so that they can buy another pass. Is the Flex Pass valid for one vehicle or valid for all vehicles in the account? So you can change your license plate. I guess in that sense, it's valid for all vehicles from within the account. Can you have multiple flex parking options? Example, all day, 4 hour, 2 hour. Can a customer buy all three? And if so, how do they redeem the one they want for the day? I'm gonna go with that you could buy a 5-pack that was good for only these, or a 5-pack that was good for these times. It might get complicated. You know, at that point, you might just want to do the daily rate for your 2 hours. Like, where I see this working really well is when I'm going to buy for the day, or maybe 5 hours or 6 hours or something along those lines. If you're really only looking to buy 2 hours worth of parking, it probably just makes sense to buy the daily rate. I don't know that a pass necessary, because I'm just not sure enough people would need that 2-hour pass. So I think we would work with you to figure out what makes the most sense in your locations to use this product, right? So once you're using HONK, the operations team kind of comes in and says, hey, let's take a good look at your operation. Oh, okay, you need this, you need that. Let's use this for this and this for that. And we would work with you to figure it all out. How do I enforce HONK parking? Is there an app? So yes, we have an app that we can provide to you to let you know which cars are compliant and when. Or again, we can integrate into your enforcement solution. So if you're working with any of the enforcement companies out there, I think we've integrated with pretty much all of them at this point. We can do an integration in which point we give you the information which you need, which is that this license plate is compliant from this time to this time. So LPR or any of the other big companies that are out there, and we can integrate directly into that, make it nice and easy for you. Is this daily parking only, or can it be hourly so that customers only pay for the time actually in the gated lot? Does the product integrate with the gate system to open and close the gate? Okay, so I think we've covered that piece, that yes, we can open the gate. And again, I probably wouldn't do this as hourly. I would really stick to doing this for a specific amount of time. Any province in Canada where provincial laws would prevent operations from setting an expiry date. Province of Quebec, for example, where it is forbidden. That is a good question. I don't know where parking falls into that scenario. Like, I know maybe sometimes with gift cards and stuff like that, there is some laws within Canada, but I'm not so up to speed on all the bylaws in all the provinces, so I'm not sure. But so far we haven't had any issues around that. So it seems that people, a lot of times operators don't put expiry dates on them, and that's the other piece, is that you don't need to, right? So you could still use the product and not put an expiry date on here if you didn't want to. So I hope I didn't speak too quickly with the answers to the questions. I was trying to get through them all and make sure we don't keep you guys on here for too long. I think that might be it in terms of questions. I'll give it another second just to see if anybody has any other questions. But listen, I'm always available as well. So you can always reach me, Kacey@honkmobile.com. That's Kacey. I'm sure I emailed all of you to get you on here. But yeah, I'm always available to chat, and we would love to have more conversations about what Honk does, what we do, all the different products that we have to offer, especially this piece, because I really believe that this is an important piece going forward, and we're really excited about it. And Parkers seem to be really enjoying the options and the flexibility that we're offering. So, from a payments perspective to the software perspective, it's all kind of working really nicely within the system, and our operators seem to be quite happy. So. That's all we have for now. So glad all of you jumped on. Really, thanks so much for coming. And I hope you have a wonderful day. And let me know if you need anything. Thanks so much.